About 4 weeks ago, I asked on the community part of the channel, when are your mock exams? And so pleased, 37 people actually responded to it. And as you see, in December, about 70% of the people, or you students doing GCSE Spanish, have actually done your mock exams. But that leaves about 30% of you who have still got your exams facing you in early January when you go back to school next week. The purpose of this particular video is simple. It's to point out to you very quickly where you can get some stuff which will actually help you big time in your revision. With that said, let's get going. So here I am on the GCSE Spanish website, and what I'd ask you to do is to go up onto playlists, and if you click on playlists, lo and behold, you get lots of playlists. Now there are quite a few playlists on the website, but I'm going to point you towards the ones which I think will be most useful for you in preparation for your January mock. So let's have a look here. I'm going to click on here and we're going to see the full playlist. And as you can see, and what I don't want you to be is to be overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that's here. But let's just have a look at here. This is the first one, and as it says, are you having problems knowing how to revise for GCSE Spanish? Has it really got you stumped? This revision challenge is really what you need. Now the whole point of the revision challenge, it says 30 days, but actually there are 30 short, they're all about 2 minutes, videos 2 minutes long, which can help you. And if I just spin down, look, time block phrases, telling the time in Spanish. You might not have done that for any number of times, and we teachers sometimes assume that you know it. But I know from my experience that people don't. Look at this one. If you're looking for those higher grades, high scoring phrases in the subjunctive, well worth a look. Lock away 2 or 3 of the bits of information in there. It will pop your grade up by at least 1 grade. You'll go from a 6 to a 7 or a 7 to an 8 or whatever. Then there's a couple of grammar things. Now I'm not going to read all of this out, but as you can see as I spin down, there's loads and loads of useful stuff. Some of it you'll know, but some of it perhaps you've forgotten, and they're the videos that I suggest that you just click on and have a look at, because you never know what gems you'll find. Other things you might think, I know that, no way Jose, well don't go there. It's up to you. Now, it's up to you now to take responsibility for some of your own learning. And here we go again, go down here. Now, there's a lot there, and perhaps you're thinking, well, I'm back in school next week, and there's 30 videos there. Let's break that down. 30 videos, 31 videos, 2 minutes each, 30 times 2 that's 1 hour's watching. Or why don't you split it up? Do 3 today, 3 tomorrow, etc, etc. You can see what I'm saying, but of course, at the end of the day, it's up to you. So that's the 30-day revision challenge. But if I then flick here, and then going back, and I'm now trying to get back onto the playlists, which I've now done. Now, you might find some of these useful, as you see going down. Now, if you've got your oral, and you're a bit sort of iffy about your oral, again, there's a ton of stuff here. Module 1, answers. Module 2, questions and answers. And the idea here is I've given you the questions with model answers. And it's the model answers that you can actually play with and make them your own. But you've got some good level stuff here. And my best suggestion is work through it. As you can see, the videos aren't too long. Some of them you might find a little bit tedious, but sometimes push does have to come to shove, and you have to do some of this stuff. There we go, all the way down, module 8 and 9. Now, perhaps, depending on how your teacher set it out, you'll only have an oral on the areas that you've actually done. But I also know that 1 or 2 of the people that I'm tutoring at the moment, they've had questions on the environment. Is it Module 8 and Module 7? And you haven't even got there. This might be one way of covering that particular base. Okay, so I'm now going to try and get back. Here we go. Yep, I'm now back into the main area and the main playlists. And perhaps the other thing that you might find useful is, look, Spanish GCSE, describing a photo. And here I've got 6 little videos that you might find very useful in constructing your way of approach to describing the photo. Again, loads and loads of stuff here. It really will be worth your time having a look at that. And then perhaps just to finish up, another thing there. I've got a series of top tips that you might find useful. Just 5 videos in that particular series, all of which I think you might find useful. But I would leave you with this thought. Don't be overwhelmed with the amount of information which is available here. Sit back, look at it logically and say, what do I need? What do I know? And leave it at that. The important thing is that when you go in the exam is not to know too much vaguely, but to know what you know well. And the final little tip really is, when you go into the exam, the oral for example, try to bring it round to stuff that you know. Your teacher will pick up on that. Also, when you're doing the writing, do the same. Recycle some of your oral work into the writing. Anyway, that's enough said. I hope you found that useful. For those people in January who have got their exams coming up, buena suerte. Also, if you are enjoying the channel, why don't you consider clicking on the bell icon just here, and then you'll be notified of any of the videos that I actually put up onto YouTube. So it's a nice way to actually keep up to date with what's going on. Gracias. So a bit cheeky, if you did like that, why don't you give it a thumbs up on the channel? Gracias. If you did find that useful, why don't you consider subscribing to the channel? Gracias, amigos míos.